Instagram, beautiful community. Now is the time. We are going live with Jim Kwik, and this is going to be awesome. Limitless book.com. Okay, this is going to be so cool. All right. Here he is, the man, Jim Kwik. Brother Jim, how are you?
I'm wonderful, James. How are you?
Fantastic. It's great to be here with you,
Oh,
and we are connecting also on Facebook right now.
yeah.
Gonna get this happening here.
Welcome to everyone who's joining us on
Mm-hmm.
on Instagram. Here with my good friend James over at Food Matters, and I'm looking forward to talking about your new docu-series, Transcendence 2.
Okay, we're live everywhere now, so thank you, Jim, so much for taking the host introduction for me. We're
It's all
co-hosting.
good.
So today I'm speaking with Jim Kwik. Jim went from being the boy with the broken brain to the man with the mastermind. He features in season 1, episode 3 of Transcendence, which came out about a year and a half ago now. And he is an incredible person on a mission to unlock your innate genius and
Yeah.
capability. In Transcendence, today's call and live is really to celebrate a few things. One is to honor Jim's presence in the Transcendence docu-series and thank him
Thank
for
you.
that and bring him here to chat about a little of that. Two is to celebrate Transcendence number 2. Season 2 is out now. We're doing an online free premiere. You can
Congratulations.
Thank you so much. You can check out links in the comments. And if you haven't seen season 1 featuring Jim yet, we're also streaming that live at the moment as well as part of the celebration.
Mm.
And to top it all off, Jim's got a book out called Limitless. And
Wow.
yeah, this is great news. So yeah, this is the reason for the season. And we're going to spend about sort of 20 minutes or so just answering your questions,
Yeah.
going deep on some topics. And I'm going to kick off here, Jim, first of all. So since the start of this year, I had a really profound sort of internal urge to just sort of double down on my morning rituals and habits.
Hmm.
And many of them I got through inspiration from interviewing people for the Transcendence docuseries, you included. And the way that I make my bed in the morning has changed. The way that I approach yoga, breathwork, and meditation has changed. The way I jump into the pool. It's becoming fall. It's fall here in Australia, so it's getting cool. It's rainy. I was in the pool this morning. Cold water, cold showers, courtesy of Wim Hof. So morning rituals. These can
Yeah.
profoundly change your life. What are you doing right now, and what is most important from a brain health perspective in terms of those first few critical minutes when you wake up in the morning?
Yeah, absolutely. So we've all heard the phrase that if you want to win the day, you have to win that first hour of the day. That first we create our habits, then our habits create you. But how do you become limitless in a limited world? How do you maintain your productivity or focus when you have the kids at home, or you have every ring, ding, ping, and thing that you need to be able to fight? And so more than ever, consistency and structure is important because it gives you power. And so the first things that I do when I wake up in the morning, a handful of things. You don't have to do everything. My suggestion is try one or two things that you could add to it.
Mm-hmm.
Number one, I would say the first thing I do is I remember my dreams. And people know I'm a big proponent for that, but a lot of gems and treasure you find in dream states. Mary Shelley came up with Frankenstein in her dream. Paul McCartney came up with a song Yesterday in his dream. A chemist created the periodic table, a framework in his dream. And when you're learning all day or learning and working all day, your brain doesn't shut off at night. It dreams and comes up with amazing things. So I have a 6-step process for remembering dreams that I talk about in the book because there's gold there. The second thing I do is I make my bed, as you said. How you do anything. And the reason why is because how you do anything is how you do everything. And you want to make your bed. It only takes a couple of minutes, but you can make it with excellence, and that you train yourself to be excellent. You train yourself to do it with focus. And you take that focus into the rest of your day. Also, your brain loves cleanliness. Clean environment, external world. You clean your external world, it cleans your internal world. Just like when you put things in your desktop, you put everything in a folder, you have clarity of thought. Another couple quick things in your morning routine is I would say that I hydrate right away because you can lose a lot of water through respiration and perspiration. Just a little dip in hydration, just staying hydrated will boost your reaction speed and your thinking speed 30%. That's huge. Wow. So stay hydrated because your brain is mostly water, 75% water. So stay hydrated. It's a good time to take if you those probiotics, because you have a second brain, which I talk about in the book also, which is your gut, and high level of neurons and brain, like nerve cells there. And then a couple other quick things that everyone could do is try brushing your teeth, but this time try brushing your teeth with the non-dominant hand. I challenge everyone to do that, because what it does, by using a non-dominant hand, it actually stimulates the opposite side of your brain. There was a study done at Oxford saying jugglers have bigger brains and they create actually more white matter. But as your body moves, your brain grooves. So it stimulates a different part of your brain. But even more important than that, I think, it trains you to be focused. Because if you had to eat or brush your teeth with the opposite hand, you can't be thinking about everything else. And everything else gets, whatever you do consistently, you get better at. And most people, what they're doing is they're checking their phone. And so that's a big challenge, because when you wake up in the first thing in the morning, you're very suggestible. And if you pick up your phone, that's the first thing you do. You rewire your brain to be distracted. Every ring, ping, ding, social media alert, app notification, and you rewire your brain to be reactive. And so you don't want to start your day reacting to things and just being distracted. And so those are little things, and a cold shower, of course, and then on of Wim Hof.
I love that.
If people are just joining us, by the way, I just want to thank you for making your films that you do. We met we actually reconnected through serendipity in Australia through somebody who also was in the film, which is amazing. And then I was in Australia earlier this year in January for the Australian Open and speaking. But it's amazing how the past few months have what's transpired. So I think more than ever, do people need to, how do you stay limitless in a limited world? And that's why your film is so important. And so I really want to congratulate you. For my friends and fans that are following right now, I'm here with James, and he has this Food Matters, and we produce an incredible docu-series, and this one we're talking about is called Transcendence. And I got the honor of being in Transcendence, the first one, and now the second one just came out. And so how do people go to find out about that? Because they can watch it for free.
That's right. We're doing a free online premiere to celebrate Transcendence 2. And there's a link in comments somewhere here, or a link in bio. Go to foodmatters.com. And you can tune in, just register your name and email address, and you'll be able to tune in for the online premiere. And it's also streaming on Gaia, which we brought our FM TV streaming channel together with Gaia to create the world's largest consciousness and transformation network in the world. So
that's amazing. Congratulations. Yeah, for my people on Instagram, they can go to jimkwik.com/transcend. jimkwik.com/transcend. So actually somebody they could write it in there. That'd be great. But
yeah, we can get that in the comments.
What I feel like it's transcend. That's what we're talking about here. Transcend. Exactly. It's ending the trance, ending this mass hypnosis through marketing and media that we need to be fixed, that we're not enough, and these lies I talk about in the book. A lie for me stands for a limited idea entertained. Everything's an acronym for it's easy to remember. Limited idea entertained. That's a lie, and we tell ourselves these lies all the time, and they become self-fulfilling. So I'm really excited to.
Jim, that's actually a really big part of Transcendence Season 2 is these core wounds or limits that we've all sort of adapted or adopted, should I say, from the culture or the culturescape, as a friend of ours, Vishen Lakhiani, talks about. And many of these are I'm not good enough, or insignificant, same thing, or fear of abandonment, fear of not getting love. And we tend to then operate from these wounds as opposed to being guided by them. And this is really powerful, because I think what your work teaches us is that there is so many subtle energies inside of us that drive our lives, our capability to perform, or the quality of our relationships, or our ability to heal is driven by the power of our mind, which is this master organ, which is also in and around our body, as you know, through gut health, and then it drives everything else. Can you speak a little bit to the power of beliefs here, Jim? Because we're big on this in Transcendence 1 and 2. And you had a big breakthrough because you had this belief that I'm a slow learner, and then you changed that and you became one of the best learners in the world. Is that how it works? How do beliefs control our lives in this way?
Yeah. So in the book, Limitless, I introduced something called the limitless model, which is a framework for accelerated learning. But not only that, it's a framework for unlocking human potential. And there's 3 M's that are involved. And if everyone could picture a Venn diagram, 3 intersecting circles that overlap. And the last one, 3 M's, is methods. And that's what we teach in the book. You know, on the back, how to remember names, how to read faster, how to learn languages, how to give a TED Talk from memory, all of those things, how to focus and concentrate. But those are the methods. And I realized that it's not methods alone won't do it for transformation. Because a lot of people know what to do, but they don't do what they know, right? Because common sense is not common practice. We know we should be prioritizing sleep. We know we should be eating the best, natural whole foods. You know, we know we should be also managing our stress. We know we should be exercising, doing these things, and meditating, but in cold therapy, but we're not doing it. And so what's missing are the 2 M's before that, which are mindset and motivation. Mindset and motivation. Mindset is your assumptions and attitudes about something. It could be about the world. It could be about yourself. It could be your attitude, assumption about personal growth or learning or education or your health. And what would fall in there are things like what you believe is possible. What would fall in there is what you believe you're capable of. So you might have seen me on stage and memorize 100 people's names or 100 numbers, words, forwards, backwards. You're like, oh, I believe it's possible, but I don't believe I'm capable of it. And that will keep you still in that box. Or it could be, I don't believe I deserve it. What you believe you deserve. So you could have the method on, easy example, how to remember names so that everyone can relate to it. Everyone forgets people's names. You could have the method that I teach on how to remember names, but if your mindset is, I'm too old, or I'm not smart enough, or I have a horrible memory. People come to me all the time with their beliefs saying, Jim, I'm not smart enough, I have a horrible memory. I say, stop. If you fight for your limitations, you get to keep them. If you fight for your limitations, you get to keep them. And here's the thing. When we have it, people truly understood how powerful their mind was. They wouldn't say or think something they didn't want to be true. And that's not to say you eat one donut, it ruins your life, but it's the consistency of it. And so that's really what we need to be able to transcend, because if your brain is this incredible supercomputer and your self-talk is a program that will run. So if you tell 100%. Yourself you're not good at remembering names, you won't remember the name of the next person you meet because you program your supercomputer not to. And here's the thing, your mind is always eavesdropping on your self-talk. Your mind and your body is always eavesdropping on your self-talk, because we know thoughts are things and it affects your biochemistry in a big way. And so all behavior is belief-driven. And that's why that mindset is so important. All behavior is belief-driven. If you think you can or think you can't, either way, you're right? You're right. And Henry Ford said that. And so that it just, and I think the starting point for this, for everybody, no matter what therapy is, they just to get conscious of what those things are. Whatever process you're going to use to transform. I call this process unlimiting. Unlimiting is the active removal of limits in mindset, in your motivation, or in the methodology that you're using. So, but you have to be aware of them first.
Profound. It's really big. And I find that, there's another concept that we talk about in episode 2 of Transcendence, season 2. And it's about this concept of language creates your reality. And there's one gentleman who was in this really horrific car accident, and he had his face nearly blown off his head, and he nearly bled to death. And he lived in this victim mentality for a number of years. People would say, what happened to your face? And he'd say, well, I nearly died in a car accident, and buy into my trauma and my past story. And then one person said, hang on, you didn't nearly die. You can't nearly die. You can't nearly be pregnant. You can't nearly be anything. You're either dead or alive. And so he just changed his language. He said, well, there was a car accident. That's it. Everything else is the color and the story you add to it. And this is this idea that language creates reality. So we have to become so aware of the language we use to ourselves and to others. I love this,
Even the little things, and then you don't have to be these big shifts. I mean, little things make a difference, because little by little becomes a lot. And so even things like, I hear people say all the time, oh, I got to help my kid with their studies. I got to work out. I got to. And you change that word got to get, totally different reality. One little vowel change from an O to an E. I get to help my child study. I get to exercise and work out. I get to do this, right? Because gratitude rewires your brain. We did a podcast. I have a 15-minute podcast episode show, and we talked about gratitude rewiring your brain for positivity, for performance. And I think our attitude more than ever is important, because it's the antidote to fear. Did you know, everything going on right now, we know that viruses are contagious, but so is fear. And chronic Chronic fear shrinks your brain. Chronic fear makes you more susceptible to colds, to flus, to viruses. It's a whole area of science called psychoneuroimmunology. Psychoneuroimmunology. And that's why it's so important that you feed your brain important things like these podcasts, like these documentaries, you know, because positivity and performance, just like fear and virus are contagious, so is positivity, so is performance, so is caring, so is love, so is wisdom, so is kindness. And this is all free. So sprinkle this stuff everywhere.
I love that. And this is really a profound concept, what you said, Jim, and something that, you know, spurred me on to creating Food Matters. I mean, since 2008. So I think this is our fourth film in 12, 13 years. So depending on the release date. And essentially, the quality of the inputs of information that you're getting impacts your beliefs about what you think is possible. Like my father had this belief years ago, well, I'm sick and that's that. And I'll hand my health over to the medical professionals and I'll take what they tell me to take. We showed him some information from Charlotte Gerson, David Wolfe, greats in natural medicine. He's like, wow, my body is actually powerful and has a self-healing capability. Yeah. So he shifted his belief. Then he started to make actions in alignment with that belief, which was I'm going to eat better, put better inputs in so that my body's healing capacity can be enacted. And he healed. So what healed him, Jim? The food or the belief that came before the action, right? This is the big thing.
Exactly. Exactly. I believe everything is that wisdom is coming in as information, but so is food. Food is a source of information also as well. But you know, even when I start this book, and I know it's backwards on Instagram, some of you are watching on Facebook, but these are like 4 stages of Joseph Campbell's work. And one of them is just freeing your mind. I talk about the limitless brain. And I tell people how amazing this is. I mean, what an amazing gift it is. That if you want to improve your self-esteem overnight, just study the power of your own brain. You know, we're talking about technology. More people upgrade their phones and their apps more than they do the power of their own mind. And I love the way you tell stories because it's through entertainment plus education do you have empowerment for individuals.
Great. Edutainment.
There you go. If you're just joining us, by the way, we're talking about Transcendence 2, which is an incredible documentary. I had the privilege and honor of being in Transcendence 1 with some other individuals. Who was in the first one? Because you're giving this away as free for people.
That's right. First one's also free as part of the celebration and the online premiere of season 2. So in the first one, we had mutual friend Novak Djokovic, #1 tennis player in the world, Wim Hof, crazy man, Iceman. We had people like Stig Severinsen, 4 times freediving world champion. Some classics in brain and mind-body science. Joe Dispenza, Bruce Lipton.
It was powerful.
We had, people, beautiful women, powerful women like Gabby Bernstein, Marie Forleo. Then John Robbins as well on Purpose, episode 5, season 1. Then we moved to season 2. We've got some great people. Sir Ken Robinson, most watched TED Talk of all time. Daniel Vitalis, dear friend, and an amazing nature-based philosopher on rewilding and reclaiming your sovereignty. So he is just unbelievable. Douglas Rushkoff, we have Turia Pitt, we have Christina Carlson, we have Reverend Michael Beckwith, and we have Ira Israel, we have some Sonia Ricciotti, we have Shelley Lefko, we have Vishen Lakiani's back as well. So look, these people are the posse, Jim, and this is the crew.
Yeah, these are dear friends, and these are for people asking how to see this. If it's okay, I could give them the link. I actually posted on Instagram and Facebook on my page just a little snippet of my story on there, but it had links also there as well to the free access to Transcendence 2. They're bonusing you access to Transcendence 1, which is an amazing gift for people. And or if you want to go to, if you know how to spell my name, jimkwik.com/transcend, you can get that also. And then in terms of the book, people are asking, it's just limitlessbook.com. limitlessbook.com, and we have a bunch of speed reading memory bonuses for everyone that just gets their order. And in Australia, we're very lucky because I mentioned it was the #1 book on Amazon for weeks in Australia, of all books in Australia.
So good.
And so thank you everybody who supported that. And congratulations on the film again.
Thank you, Jim.
This is going to move the needle. Whenever we talk about a butterfly, meaning that right now we're going through a metamorphosis, and the symbol of a butterfly is such a profound symbol of transformation. And right now it's interesting because we feel like we're a caterpillar in a cocoon. And we're
Yeah.
alone with our thoughts. We're alone with our doubts. We're alone with our fears. We're feeling alone. And what can you be doing so that you can emerge? But just when the caterpillar thought it was the end of the world, it became that butterfly. And while the beauty is in the butterfly, the transformation, the growth happens in the cocoon. And so I invite everybody to ask yourself this question: on the other side of this, right? What's the story that you want to tell about not what was going on in the world, but what was going on in your world? What was going on also in here also as well? Because we're writing that story right now. In the book, again, I have this quote from a French philosopher that's saying, life is a C between B and D. B is birth, D is death, C is choice. And these difficult times can define us, these difficult times can diminish us, or these difficult times can develop us. We decide with the little choices that we make every single day. And limitless is not about being perfect. It's about progressing and advancing beyond what you believe is possible. So for those of you who are overthinking, don't overthink this. Thinking is good. Overthinking and wanting to be perfect is not good. Don't complicate things in your life. I'm not even talking about what we're talking about. I'm saying, ask yourself this tiny question, like, what is the tiniest action? If you feel stalled or you feel scared and you feel like that things are too confusing, just simplify it. What is one tiny action you could take that will give you progress towards one of your goals? And that's it. And where you can fail, and be kind to yourself, because again, what's going on in the world, there's no precedent for this, and that people are struggling and suffering. Remember that you inspire people with your grit and your grace. That part of self-care and self-love is falling in love with that person in the mirror who's been through so much and is going through so much, but you're still standing, and honoring that, and using this time to make little choices to help nourish you, because what you nourish flourishes. And it could be something as simple as watching a documentary or listening to a podcast or read a book, because that's the best way. When you feed your body like the best foods ever that are just amazing, you don't crave the other stuff. And I'm saying one of the things you could do is just add into your mind, feed your mind, and take care of yourself.
I love it. Jim, you're amazing, dear friend, and I'm so happy that we did this live. Thank you so much for your wisdom and your insight. Yeah. And the next steps, like you made people aware of, is find the link in this comments, go straight to register your name and email address to watch the online premiere of Transcendent Season 2, and you also get, as a bonus, access to Season 1. And while you're watching that, order Jim's book, limitlessbook.com, get it delivered to your door so you can keep feeding this beautiful, amazing organ, which gives you so much power and capability and potential to not only transcend the limitations in your life, but also go out there and help serve others and deepen the love that this world needs right now. Jim, thank you so much for your time. Look forward to next time we get to connect once this is all in the past. Have a great evening, everybody. And thank you so much for your time. Thank you again, Jim.
Thank you. Wish everyone good safety and strength.